One of the things that I have learned in my 15 years experience of being a police officer is that we struggle with seeing this human side. I love people and I love my job. Start thinking, there's some things that I can do specifically that can contribute to making that relationship better. I started thinking about all the different times where I have experienced a shift in my perspective and the community has experienced a shift in their perspective. In all those instances, there was one common denominator. It was having honest human conversations. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this next episode of The Human Side with Officer Jill. Thank you for coming back. Just want a quick reminder, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, share it, leave a comment. What do you want me to talk about? Do you want to talk to me? The process to do that will be listed in the show notes below. Go ahead and holla at your girl. Like I stated, I want to have human conversations with as many people as possible, and as many people that this virtual platform will allow me to have. So one of the things that I do is I go out into various locations in public and I just have random conversations with total strangers regarding this topic. And I just want to say a big thank you to the two ladies that I was able to speak to. You'll learn both of their names, and we had a great conversation. Like I said, I don't know these people. I didn't know what they were going to say. And the key is they don't know that I'm a police officer. I don't tell them till the end. Not because I'm trying to be shady, but I just want to have a natural, honest, human conversation with people. And so go ahead and check it out. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, say so. And hit that notification bell so you know when the next episode is dropping. Enjoy this human conversation. And remember, if you show me your human side, I'll show you mine. What type of interaction have you had with law enforcement?
I'm trying to think. I guess my interaction has always been positive. It's been positive in the fact it's probably indirect. Because I am not one of those people that are holding up cell phones when something happens. I end up calling 911 if I see someone getting beat up, like a homeless person getting beat up, or when I'm driving on the 101 or the 110 and I see a wreck, I'm always calling. They're always responsive. They always have someone come out, and I see the ambulance and the cop cars coming quick. So they've always been very responsive. I haven't had a negative interaction with law enforcement.
I have also been really positive with law enforcement. It hasn't been bad. I have seen negative interactions, and a lot of the times when you're there, you see exactly what happens that causes the breakdown. Either it's the officer is not trying to be understanding of the person they're speaking to, and sometimes the other person is just scared. It doesn't matter what's said to them. They're in freak out mode.
Okay, that's fair. That's good. So, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, but I'm assuming you guys are both black.
Yes, yeah, we're black.
We are.
Nowadays?
Right.
That is true.
You're right. We're both black.
As women of color, do you all think, and I guess it's probably very broad, but do you think that our perspective, because you guys both said that you haven't had direct, right? It's been more so indirect, right? Do you think that passed down trauma contributes to us having the perspective? Because you said it's complicated, right? But you're positive and there's some negative, right? Why do you think you feel that way and you haven't experienced it specifically or directly?
Yeah, the reason why I feel that way is because, like I said, my personal interaction has been positive. However, I was out at Black Lives Matter marches. I went to a few of them. The type of aggression that I witnessed in a group of black people, that is what makes it complicated, because I don't think that didn't warrant all that, especially when you compare that to the January 6th rioters, and there was you're like, where are the police?
Right, where are
Or even when, like I told you, I cover red carpet events, even when it's like a black event that I'm covering, and the amount of police presence that's there, as opposed to when I go to a white Hollywood event, premiere or something, and the lack of police coverage and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it's complicated. And I think it is a little passed down trauma, but it's also observational. I have eyeballs. I'm seeing what's going on. And the fact that you're seeing that the type of response that's being elicited because you see a group of Black people gathering and you feel like you need extra enforcement for that.
Okay, I like that. Very nice. Do you have anything else to add, or did
She covered that one perfectly.
I agree. This is very good. I love it. I love talking to educated people about this. I really do. So let's see. This may seem like a very simple question, right? But what do you think is the main reason for the police's existence?
Do you want to answer or you want me to answer?
You go first. I've got it cooking.
The main existence for it, because we've seen law enforcement in other countries, right?
Yeah.
We knew that the history of it is to capture slaves, right? Property.
Absolutely. That was the first form of policing was that.
So it's that, and it's morphed into and had broader scope and no reach. So, but we know that's the first and foremost genesis of
That's
police,
where it started.
Right.
1,000,000%.
Police enforcement here in America. So like I said, that, like my sister said here, that doesn't escape us. That is the reason why I believe there's that ingrained or systemic kind of racism that
there's
comes
a
with it
systemic racism.
when dealing with Black people. I can only talk about Black people, but I do know that happens to other minorities. But since we are Black, we do definitely feel it. And I know I have brothers and cousins that have had interactions, very negative interactions with law enforcement. But to your question, what's the police formed, or like why do we have that? It's here in America is because it was to return property.
But what about now? Do you think, obviously slavery doesn't exist, so what would you say now, right now in this moment?
To protect property.
To protect property still?
I think so, because you have to think about it, and I'm going to put it in the context of Black Lives Matter, right?
Okay.
While I was not someone who was a rioter, I was not burning down stuff, I was a peaceful protester, exercising my civic rights. I did notice our issues, our protests weren't being addressed or taken seriously until things started burning down.
That is so true.
Stores started burning down, things started getting busted up, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa,
let's
hold
talk
on.
about
Let's see how we can get to a resolution. Oh, so it wasn't until the destruction of property and lost capital, now you want to talk about something.
Right, it's not until I'm in the street screaming and burning.
No, they don't care about you screaming. It's the destruction of property, which means a loss in capital.
Okay.
So again, like, you know, even when you go, we live in a very nice community, but the police are there to protect that community and property. So yeah, that's what I think. I don't necessarily think it's gray, but I don't think it's necessarily just to protect the public.
Okay.
Yes and no, but it's mainly to protect the capital and the property.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I was going to say, I feel that they're there to protect property and wealth. But capital is what that is, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because they're protecting mainly the people who pay their checks, in my opinion.
And they better, because we live in a very good neighborhood.
Do.
So
I was about to say, well,
Exactly.
you guys are community members. Technically, tax dollars go there. So, is it
very high taxes.
Very.
you ain't never lied. So, it's not a bad thing then that
It's
they're
not
protecting?
a bad thing, which makes sense.
The issue that I see coming is there seems to be a distinct division when it comes to protecting the community's wealth. There is where I feel like bias starts to come in, where that old bias of what it was founded on starts to come in.
Okay.
People of color and Black people, they're usually not the ones with the wealth. So if it wasn't so bad, you're fine. You can take the pain. I hate that people have this idea that Black people specifically can take a lot of punishment, and that's just fine. It shouldn't have to take any punishment, just like someone else.
But see, this is the thing why this is interesting is because, like, wealth doesn't stay in one place, right?
True.
No, wealth moves. So, like, for example, I used to ride the Metro.
Okay.
And I'm riding because I'm going to Hollywood to cover things.
You're
The Metro
strong.
is that I used to ride the Blue Line. The Blue Line is a very rough line. And then I ride up on the Red Line. And the thing is that, see, you don't know who's on these trains. So the thing is that I know that police, you don't see a heavy presence. On the Blue Line like you do on the Gold Line going up to Pasadena, but you don't know who's on these trains and who's paying into it. So when there's a shooting or when there is some type of fight that breaks out and the whole train line has to stop.
Yeah.
Or I can't even get on this because my tax dollars pay for public transit and to upgrade and extend lines and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm too afraid to even get on
even use it.
That's what I'm saying. The wealth doesn't stay in one place though, and that's
Yeah.
what I have an issue with, because then I can't enjoy what I'm paying for.
Absolutely. I love that.
We just had two
stabbings.
Yeah, I saw it.
and then down on right by the court.
the courthouse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
So that's going to hurt
Major
our
attractions.
dollars.
Major attractions.
Because that is tourist dollars that we need here in Los Angeles
That's just
County.
not safe for them to take. And you definitely don't want travel agencies telling them, hey, I'm coming to visit. What should I know to get like around?
Don't
take
red
the red line. That's a bad thing to say.
It shouldn't be that rough, especially in a
No.
tourist area. Then you want to get upset when you have them talking about building out into Bel Air, building out into all, and they're like, oh, no, we're not having that kind of element here.
Correct.
And then you can't be mad at those people who feel that way. But my thing is, if you understand the complexities of wealth and that wealthy people, and also you have younger people coming into this new wealth, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these techno kind of people coming in that are younger, and they are using this, and creatives using. Then you have to know that they still got to be protected. That means you need more law enforcement, more police enforcement on the trains, so that you can be protected. There's no reason why I should fear for my life, because I'm just trying to get from one place.
That's
It's
it.
just, I want to be treated like a person and not a profile. That's what makes it really hard. Because
See, we're talking about two different things.
I felt like this is important to bring up because
By all
I feel like when it comes to dealing with police officers, a lot of people when it comes to it and dealing with the cops, you have one of two responses you're going to get from the cops as a person. Hopefully they'll see you as a person and they're asking you normal things like, why did you respond like that and run away? B was chasing. You have no idea why that person just started running like a random person. I ran because I was being chased by bees. I'm deathly allergic to bees.
Yeah.
All right, that person had a logical reason for running. They're not resisting arrest. But then you have on the other end, and I do understand where officers come from. Their lives are in jeopardy every day to do their job. Well, they're like, this person is running. They're guilty of something. They've got a gun. They've got this. You just made 50 different assumptions about this one person's action of just running. It's very dangerous.
All right, that's good. That's kind of along the lines.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. What can we do? What are practical ways or practical things that we can do, meaning us as a people and our law enforcement officers? What can we do to actually make that relationship work? Practical ways, right? Outside of the coffee with a cop.
Yeah, I
don't
did. I
sit
have
there.
that.
They're cool. Don't get me wrong. They serve a purpose. But what would you say some practical ways to better the relationship?
I guess first of all, you got to identify like what the problem is, like where the issue lies, because you have, like I said, we don't have a high crime, and you know what I'm saying. We live up in it's a nice area, and then so you're not going to see that a whole lot. So it can't be like a blanket, like what can you do?
It
But
depends on community.
right, if you're talking about like more issues, more crime-ridden areas and stuff like that, different places have different issues that you have to address. So I think first you have to address what the issue is in that particular community.
Okay.
Because they're trying to do, like, I used to live in New York, trying to do like the whole stop and frisk thing. They're trying to use one thing to like solve
Cover
everything.
and there's no universal key to
Right.
this.
So you gotta, for the cops that I think that do the street cops and stuff like that, one thing I think that I like is getting people recruited that are from that neighborhood, because they know that neighborhood.
They know people in that neighborhood.
So it's not an us against them kind of thing.
Correct. You want them to be, the police need to be a part of the community as well, not a separate entity from the community.
No, what I'm saying is because a lot of times you get cops who patrol communities, but they're from Irvine or something.
Yeah.
Like they don't have
They
no
don't have
personal
any connection.
So it's nice to get recruit from the neighborhood because they know the neighborhood. And then also identifying what's the problem with the police and the community in that community.
Yeah, in that
and then
particular
trying to work from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what your issue is not what our issue
Right,
is.
you
Yeah,
really have to
absolutely.
go into the community and be in the community to see where the issues are.
And I understand that's hard.
It is
because recruiting is hard because, first of all, no one wants to join an organization that's already has a negative mark or a negative stain.
Yeah.
And then also police officers, while they do get a lot of money has gone into the police department, I don't know necessarily if it's getting trickled down to the actual officers.
Exactly.
Because I know that there's tons of money spent, but I don't know if that trickles out to every officer. So, you have that, and then you're like, people don't like police, and like all this stuff. So it makes it hard to recruit in those neighborhoods, but I really think that would help it.
Do you think, this is another hot topic question, conversations I have all the time, do you think that minorities should only police their...
No. I don't think, because the thing is, see, this is the thing. It feeds into this whole, like, we're different.
Yeah, and us versus them kind of mentality.
And we're not different.
Yeah.
We're all human.
We're all human, yes,
so I don't
exactly.
Need, I don't need just a black cop and a black community. And a lot of the times, black cops sometimes perpetrate these things.
They do sometimes.
Because we heard about what happened up in Chicago. Was it Chicago?
Memphis.
It was in Memphis, yes.
All those were black cops. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
horrible.
Right. So I don't think you just need just black cops.
And I mean every kind of cop.
Right.
That's
But it helps if you
Absolutely.
do come from the community, or maybe even an adjacent community, but you're familiar with that.
Right, with the culture
Right.
and how to interact. There's that comfort level
Exactly.
that you have when you see someone that looks like you.
Exactly. But you don't have to, for me, it doesn't always have to be just a black officer. Or
Right.
Yeah.
a minority.
Right.
It could be a white officer. Because at the end of the day,
we're all people.
humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I get mixed responses on that one.
Exactly. That's the question. It's like people are...
Exactly. And then also, like I said, you have people, just because you have black people, right? Black people are not a monolith. So you have black people that are very poor. They have black people that are very wealthy.
Right.
And you cannot be treating these people.
The same.
So that's the thing.
Not.
So you're like, oh, we know how to treat our people. One, sometimes our people treat us, they're too friendly too quickly. Like, I don't know you.
And what's that phrase? All skin folk? Or what is it?
Not every one of your skin is of your kin. Yeah.
My thing is that when I hear that, oh, we only know how to deal with each other, like you said, do we know? Because how you would handle someone who may be like a homeless black person is not how you handle Michael Jordan. So there's levels to this. So like I said, mix it all up and make sure that they at least are, if they don't come from that neighborhood or community, that they're familiar with it.
Right.
Because you just can't just throw anyone in there.
Yeah.
I don't want someone who's scared and they're always like on guard.
That's how people get hurt.
Right.
Like a trigger-happy cop or an anxious cop that's scared in a situation, they have a very high-pressure job. You do not want someone very scared and nervous like that in a high-pressure job like that. Someone's going to get hurt on accident, and God willing that the person doesn't die. But
Right.
we know and we have seen those things happen.
No, you're right. I agree 100%. Okay, so last question. So if you could ask an officer, if you knew you didn't get a complete and total honest answer, and you can ask them one or a couple questions, what would that question be? Something that you always want to know, whatever it is. What would you ask them? What would you want to know?
That's a good question. 'Cause
I'm
I
like,
don't really know either.
Right, I don't
That's stuff that I want to know. I just Googled and looked up at it. Why did they do that? Why did they touch the front of the car? Oh, now I know.
You'd be surprised how many people don't like,
Yeah.
and they make up their own idea as to why this thing is happening.
I don't know.
I don't
Are you
really
a cop? I'm like,
That's a good question. We
you
didn't
build
ask
report.
that one.
You build report real good. And it's like getting good.
I do report real good. That's funny.
That's a quality a cop has to
I have a
right?
question I
Build
would ask a
rapport.
cop. What would be the ideal way to report a crime in progress? Like, I know with the military, like I grew up with my dad being in the military, so he's retired now. But later in life, I also tried that route. It didn't work out, but I tried. And there was a specific thing that there was a way you had to report something happening. And they had an acronym because there was certain things you had to hit in order to report that clearly. And it made perfect sense. They called it salute report. And yeah, and I was like, because it tells you, well, like the main things, what did you see? When did you see it? How many of what did you see? Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Oh wow. Okay. A crime. So you're to say we're just in the mall and crime is occurring.
Yeah.
You want to know how you are supposed to report that.
Yeah.
Obviously, call 911, and the more detailed you are, the better.
Yeah.
Ultimately, so I think everything that you just described, that your dad mentioned, that's a. So.
Yeah.
I know you didn't say no to that you weren't a cop, but
I did it. So that's next.
I noticed that too.
I am actually a police officer.
Yay!
Did you guys know from the beginning?
A little.
So the questions you're asking sounds like a police officer trying to like really figure it
Okay.
out. And also you're unassuming, you build rapport really quickly. So I'm like, I think this is a cop.
Because I don't want people to know. I feel like people aren't going to be completely honest if
That's
they know.
true.
I'm
I
not,
understand.
right?
But
So
see-
I want to get honest responses.
What I would ask a cop, I don't think I would ask a cop anything. I would like, if I could ask them anything, maybe improve on reporting bad cops.
Okay.
Because, like, you always hear, not all cops are like that. There's some bad apples. I understand. Let's get them out. And I think that sometimes there is pressure on other cops. They feel like they get ostracized, or they end up being like on desk duty or something when they try to report a bad cop. When we first moved here, my family and I moved here from New York, and what was his name? He was the police officer that went up to the cabin, and he ended up a Dorner.
Yes.
When I actually stopped to understand what was going on with that, he was trying. That's the whole thing blew up because he was trying to report about a bad cop, and then he felt like he was getting ostracized. And the thing is that it shouldn't have to be where, in order to weed out bad cops, the cops that are like want to do good and want to try to change it, they feel fearful for their jobs or even their lives, because we've heard that there's like these cop gangs.
Yeah,
so
cop gang.
It shouldn't be like that. So my ask would be is that I wish there was a way that good cops can feel confident and protected about getting those bad cops out.
Yes, and I can tell you from experience, there is that reality. I'm not going to act like it's not, but I think that exists. I think people forget that law enforcement is still a job, right?
Right.
It is.
And it's with people. And every job, every career in any industry, you're going to have the same things.
Yep.
They're just going to be on different levels, right?
Yep.
It just happens to be that law enforcement is a very public entity. But it does exist where you definitely will feel... I personally haven't been in a situation where I've had to report a bad officer. But if I just thinking about it, I'll be honest, I'm a little exactly. I'll be honest, just because you don't want to be seen as a traitor, but at the same time, I have also never experienced a bad cop in the way most people think it to be, and there are more good cops than
I
are
think
bad.
so.
Yeah, I
Like we
agree
said,
that
we've
there are
always
more
had
good
positives.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Do I think they're all good? Absolutely not.
Right.
People aren't all good.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
That's exactly it. As long as you're working with people, it's not going to be all good.
Yeah.
It's not.
People are not all good. So you're gonna have bad cops.
Yeah.
You're gonna have bad doctors. You're gonna have
Yep.
bad teachers.
Yep.
How many teachers sleeping with these little kids?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that is a problem, and I do think that we need to do a better job of making officers feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Of being able to, when they do see something wrong. Like, for example, even the George Floyd situation. A lot of those officers that were standing on the outskirts, they were all new probation officers. And I know even for me when I first started, it's be quiet, do
Yep.
what you're supposed to do, learn. There's truth to that. You don't know what you're doing. You're just out there. You just got the academy. All you
Right.
talk to is book stuff. Get out of here.
Exactly.
I've been doing this for 15, 20 years. I know how to
Yeah.
interact with the people on the streets.
Yeah.
Classrooms is controlled situation,
Right.
right? Yeah, and so you have this idea, okay, just shut up, learn, so you can
Right.
protect yourself and your partner, and then go home. I do think we need to do a better job of that, of making
And I
officers feel
think so, because
comfortable.
like I said, our interaction has always
Yeah,
been very
always been good.
positive. Unfortunately, our uncle who just passed away, he passed away from COVID. He was a
Sorry to
police
hear about
officer
that.
in
Oh, wow.
Atlanta.
Okay.
And he was a very good cop, obviously,
That's
from the part
really
we saw.
neat. Yeah.
So I think there are more good cops, just like I feel like just in life, there's more good people that want to see racial justice, that want to have equality. But they're scared.
Yeah.
Not as an excuse, but they're scared, or they feel intimidated, or they feel like they're going to be threatened.
Yeah.
So I just feel like if there was a way, and that's very complicated, if that was a way to make them feel more confident, and that would be great.
I agree. And I think, I can't tell you exactly how I know, but I do know that there are some agencies here locally that are working on that.
Yeah.
And they're working with outside source to make that become something that's more available to officers.
Yeah.
I like that.
They feel more empowered to that
You
everyone
really
can
need
stand
that.
up.
And-
It doesn't
and
matter
that's-
what your rank is.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because that's what I feel like a lot of people forget about.
Right, the skateboard in the mall. Okay. Trifling kids. Sorry.
That's why you have your parents,
Right.
parents that care too.
But I feel like a lot of people forget that cops are people too, and cops need support too. We want to get really mad at what they're not doing, but let's also focus on what it is they are doing, and how do we help them help us. That's what's missing.
What do you think that is? How do you help us? Help you guys.
I think,
Like I said, I don't want to interrupt.
I feel like it's like part of what we stated in the first question is like going into the neighborhoods or like having recruiting from the neighborhoods where people know someone or getting to know what's going on in this neighborhood. What area of this neighborhood seems to be a problem or that people don't seem to want to be in. Why is that? And investigate that. Why do you guys want to hang out at this park? Oh, there were several dead bodies found at that park, so I don't want to be there. Oh, that's a really good reason.
Yes.
We need some enforcement here.
And not only that, because like my sister went to a real big extreme. But not only let's talk about homeless, like homelessness, right? A lot of people don't want to go to certain areas because of homelessness, right?
Yeah.
And the homelessness, sometimes people are just homeless and they just don't have a home.
Yeah.
And some people are homeless because of mental illness.
Correct.
Yeah.
And some mental ill people chill and they're cool, and some of them are real aggressive.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't know what the issue is in the neighborhood of why this place is like maybe crime ridden.
Yeah.
Well, it's crime ridden because you have a certain community of people where people are preying on them or exploiting that.
Or a criminal element that is gathered
Yeah.
in one place.
Very easily in Long Beach, over here by on Ocean, there's that park or whatever.
Oh.
Huge homeless population was there, and the thing was, then there was started becoming a crime element there. Why is the crime element there? Because they're exploiting that there's people there that they can use that they can become junkies.
Yep.
There's people there that they can cover, they can use them as cover. Issues started becoming much more complex on why are we having homeless people here. And I think I don't know, I don't live in Long Beach, but I think they started cleaning it up. But really addressing that issue is now we have these homeless people here, and now it was homeless, now it's crime.
Right.
We're trying to figure out why this is happening. So
That's good.
It's like following that trail. What's happening?
What's
here?
actually
What is
happening.
actually happening?
Right.
All right. I love that. I love this conversation.
Our mom's an attorney,
Our
and we
mother's an
always
attorney.
Okay.
we're
So we're always
always
talking
talking about
Awesome.
like
That's good.
hot topic issues like
That's
this.
good.
Yeah.
I love that. That's why I'm doing this, honestly, for a couple reasons. One, I think people forget that cops are human. And I'll even be honest, cops sometimes forget that we serve them,
Right.
Like,
I understand.
That's your responsibility, just to interact with people.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just create a human experience with other people and put it out there. Hey, look, we're all human, dude. We all have we all have
Exactly.
opinions. We all
Exactly.
Just figure it out. Like, it's really not that hard if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, you just treat people right.
Yes.
That goes a long way.
Yeah, that's it.
Besides being a cop, you're a mom, you're
Yeah.
a starter, you're a sister.
Yeah,
So you're
exactly.
like, okay.
Exactly. And we forget that a lot. And we get caught up in our emotions.
And I understand that they have to
I
make
do.
really split-second decisions.
Yes.
Like I told my
Yes.
sister, I would never want her to try to identify anybody. Like
am
in a
so
lineup,
terrible at-
she does a horrible job because she has to make that split decision.
Split-second
like
decision,
split second. Okay, how did this person look? How did they
Yeah.
look?
Yeah.
How tall are they? And a lot of the times, it is wrong when she does
Perfect
it.
example was a game that came out recently, really popular, called
Okay.
Among Us.
Okay.
A perfect example of that. Because in the game, it's a multiplayer game with a bunch of people, and one of the people in the group is an imposter, and they are the only person who has the ability to kill anyone. So you
Okay.
can run around in the game doing tasks, and you come across a dead body and report it, and everybody's got to figure out, what did you see? What did you see? And someone's, I just saw blue kill this guy, because everybody
Yeah.
picks a different color.
Okay.
And blue didn't kill anyone. It was black that killed someone. But that split second of what, like having to call what it is you saw,
Yep.
you really realize
Yep.
how much people really didn't see.
It's really hard.
Yeah, no, because everything's going. Your
Yeah.
adrenaline. And you don't realize how much stuff gets blocked out from that.
It does.
You really don't.
It's
You really
so
don't.
funny because like when I report a lot of accidents, earlier maybe 2 weeks ago there was an accident on the 101 going north, and I don't know if someone hit the car or it flipped or something, but it was a fire. So I'm like calling, and then I have to try to tell you
She was
where I'm
trying-
going. So it's 101 north between this
Yeah.
exit, and they're like, what color? It's very
Yeah.
hard to recall.
very difficult.
So I was like, ooh,
Yeah, those are all the details that we need.
you'll see the smoke.
Follow the smoke. I like that. Follow the smoke. Well, ladies, I appreciate it. What's the name of you said you have your own?
Oh my my YouTube channel is Red Carpet Fly. I
Okay.
interview celebrities on the red
All right.
carpet, do celebrity
Awesome.
interviews. So check
Awesome.
me out.
All right, and you?
I am VR Ken at
Okay.
VR Ken Gaming on Instagram, and on YouTube.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, ladies. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
check out.
Thank you.